Hi guys, what's up? This is Tevfik and I'm an XR developer and online instructor with more than 10,000 students around the world. In this tutorial series, we will learn VR development with Unity by building a Quidditch VR game. And this video is the first tutorial on getting started with VR development for Oculus Quest and Unity. So let's get started. Alright, first of all, to create a game, we need a game engine, of course. Unity is the game engine that we will use. It's a very popular game engine that has an incredible community around the world. It supports building games for more than 25 different platforms including Android, iOS, Mac, PC and various VR platforms such as Steam VR and Oculus. And for virtual reality development, Unity is a really good choice. Now let me show you how to download and install Unity. Here, click on Get Started. Under Individual tab, we will use the free personal version, which is just awesome. With this version, you can use Unity and even publish your game for free. But when your game starts making more than $100,000 in a year, you need to start paying to Unity. But I think it's a very fair plan, especially for indie developers like me. Okay, click on Get Started again. I will now click on Start button, agree and download, and it will automatically download the Unity Hub setup file. Okay, install and open Unity Hub. Unity Hub is an app that manages your Unity projects, Unity editor versions, and even your Unity account. Thanks to Unity Hub, you can keep different versions of Unity and control all of your Unity projects from one single desktop app. So you can install different versions of Unity here. Let me now show you how to install Unity. You can just click on Add and you will choose the version and click on Next. In this tutorial, I will use Unity 2020.1, but if I would start a commercial project, I will choose Unity 2019.4 LTS since it is more stable. It just depends on you. Now, you will be asked to choose which platform modules that you will build for. We only need Android since Oculus Quest 2 is actually an Android device with lenses and controllers. Make sure to choose Android support and toggle these Android SDK, NDK and GDK modules for a proper Android setup. You may need to install Visual Studio for scripting if you don't have it. Okay, after choosing the modules, click on Next and accept the license agreement. Now, Unity will be installed on your PC or Mac. Next, we will create our first Unity project for this tutorial. So let's click on New and choose the latest version of Unity. I will name it as a Quidditch VR project. Here, verify that the 3D option is selected. Okay, click on Create Project and it may take a while to finish. Alright guys, we finally created the Unity project for Quidditch VR. Now we will import VR framework that we will use, which is XR Interaction Toolkit from Unity. Unity's XR Interaction Toolkit is a framework to create cross-platform AR/VR experiences without having to code the interactions from scratch. It's a great tool for virtual and augmented reality development, especially for quick prototyping. It currently supports ARCore, ARKit, HoloLens, Magic Leap for AR and mixed reality, and it supports Oculus and PlayStation platforms for virtual reality development. So, in this tutorial series, we will use XR Interaction Toolkit for the main VR functionality with Oculus Quest 2. It is really easy to learn and you will see that too. Okay, let's now quickly install it. XR Interaction Toolkit is a package, so you will use Package Manager to install it. Click on Window, Package Manager. Make sure to choose Unity Registry for all packages Unity offers. Down to bottom, you may see some XR packages, but there is no XR Interaction Toolkit here. It is because XR Interaction Toolkit is still in preview. So click on Edit, Project Settings, Package Manager. Check Show Preview Packages toggle. Back to Package Manager, now XR Interaction Toolkit should be visible. Here, click on Install. Oops, there is a warning here about the new input settings, so I will just say yes and it will restart the editor. It was related to new input system from Unity. Okay, under Packages, you should now see XR Interaction Toolkit package. If you right-click on Scene, you will see that there is a new menu called XR, and it has a bunch of interaction components such as XR rigs, teleportation components, etc. But don't be confused because we will explore XR Interaction Toolkit as we build the Quidditch VR game in this tutorial series. Now it is time to get the Quidditch game assets that we all have been waiting for. And I will give the assets as a Unity package. This package will include some 3D models, ready-to-use scenes featuring Quidditch, which is a fictional sport played in Harry Potter universe. Now go to the link in the description to download the Unity package. After you download the Unity package, right-click on Assets, Import Package, Custom Package, and locate the Quidditch Assets Unity package. As you can see, we have 3D models, textures, and a ready-to-use scene. For example, we have the stadium and a broomstick. Now import everything, and it may take a while. You can just pause the video and have a look around all these assets. So we have a bunch of folders containing different assets. I will just open the game scene. It's a very cool Quidditch stadium that includes the goalposts, long towers with curtains. If you just play the scene, you will see the billowy curtains, which is pretty nice, I think. And if you look at the center, we have this broomstick. It's a Nimbus 2000. If you are a Harry Potter fan, I'm sure you know it. So, we will build the Quidditch VR game within this scene. But in this video, we will first see this scene with our VR headset, which is Oculus Quest 2. And in later tutorials, we will try to grab this broomstick with our controllers, and also we will be flying inside this stadium. But as you see, we don't have any skybox and the scene is a little bit dark. So let's make it better. Open Asset Store and search for Fantastic Skybox free asset. It's a free and awesome asset for our Skybox. Just add it to your assets and open Unity. With Unity 2020, we can access our assets via Package Manager, as you see. So I will just download and import asset. Now you should see it in the assets. To change the skybox, click on Window, Rendering, Lighting, and Open Environment tab. For Skybox Material, we have lots of cool options. I think I will choose this one, but you can even select the night. There we go. It is really nice now. We can even play with the light intensity to make the stadium more visible. Now let's see this Quidditch Stadium in virtual reality. I will first save the scene as Quidditch VR. Then delete this default camera because we are not working on mobile, PC or console games. We are working on something different, which is virtual reality. So this default camera will not work with virtual reality. Instead, what will I do is to right click here and choose XR, device-based, stationary XR rig. As you can see, two different game objects are created. One is XR rig and the other one is XR interaction manager. These two game objects are the essential components for a VR scene, so I can surely say that this Quidditch VR scene is now a VR compatible scene. An XR interaction manager is like a bridge between interactors and interactables. By interactors, you can think of them as your hands, for example. Because you will be using your VR controllers to trigger things in a scene. And interactables will be the objects to grab or touch or even to click if it is a UI object. So, XR Interaction Manager is needed for communication for interactors and interactables. Then we have the most important object, the XR rig. It is basically a game object that holds your VR headset and controllers. It has this XR rig script that should be attached to the base of XR rig, and it will become handy when we will implement teleportation to the VR player. Okay, under it we have the camera offset. It will be the height of the camera from the scene origin, and after that we have the main camera as your VR headset. Notice that it looks like a default Unity camera, but it has a component called Tracked Pose Driver. This component takes pose value from an XR device and applies to the game object in the scene. In this case, it will take the position and rotation data from your headset and apply it to this main camera. This will enable you to view the scene with a VR headset, like looking at wherever you want with your hat. Next, we have left and right hand controllers. They are basically your VR controllers, and they have these awesome components such as XR controller, XR Ray interactor, and XR interactor line vision. These come with Unity XR Interaction Toolkit, and they really help us a lot in developing VR experiences. If you look at XR controller component, you will see that its controller node is set as left hand, and for right hand controller, it is set as right hand. We can even set one of these as center eye, and it will take the headset pose. Also, we can configure some button selection features with XR controller component. For the other components, we will really get into detail in later videos. Okay, you may wonder why I choose stationary XR rig in the first place. Because now you know what an XR rig is, and you also know that there is another XR rig called room scale XR rig here. In fact, let me delete this one and create a room scale XR rig. Okay, there is not much difference, but notice that the tracking origin mode is set to floor, whereas it is set to device with stationary XR rig. The main difference is that stationary XR rig should be used for stationary experiences where you don't need to move in a scene like VR storytelling experiences. On the other hand, for room scale XR rig, the floor level will be taken into account. It will just take your real life ground level that you set with your headset, and it will position you in the scene according to that. So we will use the room scale XR rig, and I will just reset its transform. Lastly, you may also wonder why I choose device-based XR rig, not action-based. Well, action-based game objects will use a new input system from Unity, but it supports cross-platform controllers in a better way. But it's just so new, and we can just use the old input system that's compatible with device-based behavior. Okay, now all we have to do is to configure this project for Oculus Quest 2 and build this Quidditch VR scene into our Oculus Quest 2. First, click on File, Build Settings. Add the Quidditch VR scene as the main build scene. Now switch platform to Android, and it will take a while to finish. What can I tell you here is that Oculus Quest and Oculus Quest 2 are like Android phones with lenses and hand controllers. So Oculus Quest development is kind of an Android development because the output should be APK files. Okay, looks like switching platform is done. Now click on Player Settings. Here on the left bottom, click on XR Plugin Management. For Unity's new XR plugin system, we need to install it. After that, Unity will ask for which platform we are developing. Here I will check Oculus Toggle under plugin providers for Android. If you have Oculus Rift or want to use Oculus Link, install Oculus package for standalone too. Okay, now click on Player Settings again. Next, under Other Settings for Graphics API, make sure to have OpenGLS 3 as the only graphics API. Okay, for the color space, choose linear color space, because this is what Oculus suggests for Android builds. You can check out the suggested Android build settings here. I put the link in the description. Now enter your unique package name under identification. Next, we need to choose the minimum API level. We need to set it to 23, Android 7. Also, target API level should be automatic. Lastly, set the install location to automatic. Okay, we can finally close the player settings. Lastly, open build settings again, and here change the texture comparison to ACTC. Because this is again an Oculus suggestion and it may take a while to finish. Okay, looks like we are finally ready to build the game to Oculus Quest 2. But first, we need to enable developer mode. So go to the link in description. SideQuest is a free desktop app that lets you easily sideload apps or games to your Oculus Quest. I use it a lot for managing my files and apps on my Quest. I can also play very cool free games on it. The best thing about SideQuest is that it lets you easily install external APK files to your Quest or 2. Here, this documentation shows the basic steps to sideload apps to Quest. Just pause the video, download this setup and install it on your PC or Mac device. And follow this easy documentation to unlock the developer mode with your Oculus Quest 2. Okay, I assume that you are now an Oculus Quest developer. Now let's build this scene and install this APK to Oculus Quest 2. First of all, power up your Oculus Quest 2 and connect it to your PC or Mac. Then I will just click on File, Build and Run. Let's call it First Build and Save. That's it. Unity will now automatically build and install the app to Oculus Quest 2 if it is connected. Let's now wear our headsets and open the game. I will open the library, unknown sources, and locate the Quidditch VR game. Okay guys, I'm inside the Quidditch Stadium and I can look around freely. I have the controllers and everything seems to be working. So, congrats for that, it's a really important step. You just took the first step becoming a VR developer. So, this is the end of the tutorial, hope you like it. Just imagine yourself grabbing the broomstick and fly. That will be a real thing in the next episode of this tutorial series. If you want to see more tutorials on VR development, be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel, it will mean world to me. And I will see you in the next episode of Quidditch VR game development.